the chains and the human who broke them. The hallway was cold and silent. Elian, a quiet human engineer, walked slowly through the metal corridor of the alien freighter. The walls pulsed with strange lights, and the air smelled like burnt ozone. He had been working on this ship for weeks now, repairing old systems and staying out of trouble. He didn't speak much. Most of the alien crew ignored him, but tonight felt different. He heard a sound, soft, like someone crying. It came from the lower deck, the part of the ship no one ever visited. The crew had warned him not to go there. They called it the Forgotten Hold. But Elian was curious, and something about the sound felt wrong. He followed the noise, step by step, until he found a thick black door. It was sealed shut, old chains wrapped tightly around it. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the surface, alien letters he couldn't read. The crying was louder now. It wasn't just sadness, it was pain. Elian looked around. No one was watching. He pulled out his toolkit and began working on the lock. "This is a bad idea," he whispered to himself. But his hands didn't stop. After a few minutes, the lock gave a soft click. The chains fell to the floor with a heavy clatter. The door slid open slowly, revealing a small dark cell. Inside, he saw her, a young alien girl, no older than 20 by human guess, sat on the floor with her hands chained behind her back. Her skin shimmered with a soft violet hue. Glowing marks ran down her arms. Her silver hair was messy, and her eyes were not just beautiful, they were ancient, deep, and filled with sorrow. She didn't move. She just stared at him. Elian stepped inside, unsure. "Are you hurt?" he asked. She didn't answer. He knelt beside her and touched the chains. They were tight, cutting into her skin. "I'm going to help you," he said softly. With care, he unlocked them. As the last shackle fell, she didn't jump or run. Instead, she slowly stood up and looked at him. Then she whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." Before Elian could respond, the lights above flickered. The ship shook, violently. Sirens began to wail. "What's happening?" he asked. She didn't answer. She stepped out of the cell and walked into the hallway. Elian followed, confused and a little afraid. Suddenly, explosions rocked the ship. Alien crew members screamed over the intercom. "We're under attack!" someone shouted. "By who?" Elian muttered, but deep down he already knew. They reached the control room. Outside the windows, several sleek black ships hovered in space, ships with no known markings moving like shadows. The alien girl turned to Elian. "They've come for me," she said. "And now, for you." "Why me?" Elian asked. She walked closer, her eyes locked on his. "Because you broke my chains, and in my people's law. That means you are now one of us." "Wait, what?" Before he could say more, a strange silence fell over the ship. A flash of light blinded him. When he opened his eyes again, the control room was filled with tall figures in dark armor. Alien warriors, their faces hidden behind sharp masks. They moved past Elian and knelt before the girl. Then something even stranger happened. They looked at Elian and bowed. Elian took a step back. What the hell is going on? The girl stood tall now, her voice calm and strong. "My name is Alara. I am heir to the clan of Shadows, and by freeing me, you have accepted a bond older than your world." Elian shook his head. "I didn't mean to, I was just trying to help." "It doesn't matter," she said. "What's done is done, and now they will come for you." Before he could speak again, the largest of the warriors stepped forward. "Your life is no longer your own, human. You belong to the clan." Elian felt his chest tighten. Outside, more enemy ships arrived. The war was just beginning. The girl, with the clan behind her, stood frozen, staring at the group of armored aliens kneeling before the girl he had freed just minutes ago. Everything around him felt unreal. The walls of the ship still shook from the earlier attack, but now the silence inside was thick, like the air itself waited for something. Alara, the alien girl, stepped forward. Her glow had changed. It was stronger now. Her voice no longer soft or scared. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She was someone powerful. "You broke my chains," she said again, her glowing eyes locked on Elian. "In our world, that means your fate is tied to mine." Elian backed up slowly. "I didn't know. I was just trying to help you." "I know," Alara replied. "But the law of my people doesn't care about your reason. You acted, and now the bond is sealed." The warriors behind her stood up in unison. One of them, taller than the rest with deep red armor, spoke with a voice like thunder. "We are the Blood Guard," he said, "and we serve the heir of the clan of Shadows. She has accepted you. That means we protect you now. Fight beside. You die for you." Elian looked around the room. He felt sick. "This is a mistake. I'm just an engineer. I'm not part of your war. I don't even know who you are." Alara walked up to him slowly, her silver hair brushing her shoulders. "You may not want it, but now every clan will know your name, and not all will see you as a friend." He stared into her eyes. "Then what am I to them?" "A threat," she said. "A human who bonded with the heir of Shadows. To them, that means you plan to take power." Elian's mind raced. This is insane. Before she could answer, the ship's lights flickered again. A transmission came, through broken, full of static. "Incoming vessel, Clan Garrick, demanding surrender." Alara's expression turned cold. "They followed us," the tall warrior growled. "We fight." "No," Alara said sharply. "Not here, not yet. Elian must understand what he is before we draw blood." The warrior looked confused. "But he is not trained. He is not one of us." "He will be," she said. Alara turned back to Elian. "There is a place, a sanctuary where we can speak, freely. There, the truth will be shown to you." Elian didn't know what choice he had. He followed her. They moved quickly through the ship, escorted by 6 silent warriors. They entered a side chamber with glowing walls and circular symbols etched into the floor. Alara placed her hand on the center circle. Energy pulsed through the room. The walls shimmered, and suddenly, they were no longer aboard the ship. Elian gasped. They stood on a platform floating in deep space. Stars glowed all around them, but there was no cold, no sound. It was a memory space, something alien tech created to share thoughts and visions. Alara turned to him. "This place will show you who we are." In the air before them, shapes began to form, images made of light. He saw her, chained as a child, forced to kneel before a massive throne. A deep voice shouted at her, calling her a curse. She was born from a forbidden bloodline, a child of 2 rival clans, something that was never allowed. Yet she survived. He saw her grow, watched by guards, never trusted, never free. Until the day she was taken, sold as a hostage in a political deal. The ship he found her on was part of that deal. Elian looked at her in shock. "You were never a prisoner of war. You were a gift. A cursed gift," Alara whispered. The vision changed again. He saw another memory, a law written in fire. It said, "He who breaks the chains of the blooded heir shall carry the weight of her clan." "You didn't just free me," she said. "You became part of me." Elian stepped back. "I didn't ask for this." Alara looked hurt, but she nodded. "I know, and you can still walk away, but if you do, my clan will die, because now they believe in you." "Believe in me?" he asked. "They think the stars chose you, that you were sent to change the fate of our people." Elian laughed bitterly. "I fix engines. I don't lead warriors." "Then tell them that yourself," she said. A flash of light returned them to the ship. Alarms screamed again. "Enemy vessel breaching," a voice shouted. The warriors drew weapons. Alara stood beside him. "The clan of Garrick is here," she said. "They want you dead, or captured, or worse." Elian clenched his fists. He was terrified, completely out of place. But deep inside, something was changing. The girl who was once in chains now stood ready to fight for him, and the warriors who once ignored him now waited for his words. Outside, the enemy ship began to cut into the hull. Alara looked at him. You have to choose right now. Do you stand with us? Alien looked at her, at the glowing marks on her skin, at the warriors beside her, and he nodded once. Then prepare yourself, Alara whispered. Because my father, the clan lord, he will not be so kind. Hunted by those he never knew, the enemy ship tore into the hull like a blade through soft skin. Alarms screamed louder, and red lights flashed through the corridors. Alien crew members ran in every direction, some shouting orders, others frozen, with fear. The warriors of Alara's clan formed a line, weapons ready, eyes cold. Alien stood behind them, heart pounding. He wasn't a soldier. He didn't belong in a war zone. But now, every move he made had meaning. And worse, every move he didn't make could get someone killed. Alara stood beside him, calm and focused. They won't ask questions, she said. They'll just take you, and if they can't, they'll destroy everything around you. Why? Alien asked. Why do they care about me so much? Because you broke the chain, she said. You touched something sacred. You changed the path of an heir. They think you want power. They think you plan to control us. Alien shook his head. I don't want control. That doesn't matter, Alara whispered. They're afraid of what you could become. A loud crash came from down the hall. The metal wall twisted inward as a huge warrior stepped through, twice the size of any alien had seen before. His armor was jagged, black, and stained. His face was hidden behind a helmet shaped like a beast. That's one of the Garrick elite, Alara said. He's not here to talk. The Bloodguard warriors charged without waiting. The fight was brutal. Alien blades clashed with glowing energy. The air filled with smoke and sparks. Alien tried to stay back, but one of the smaller Garrick fighters broke through the line and lunged at him. He ducked. The enemy missed by inches. Alara moved faster than anyone he'd ever seen. Her blade sliced through the air, cutting the attacker down before Alien could scream. Stay behind me, she growled. The elite warrior grabbed one of Alara's men and threw him against the wall like a toy. The sound of bones breaking echoed through the hall. Alien felt his legs weaken. This wasn't a war. This was slaughter. Alara fought with everything she had. Her moves were sharp, angry, full of purpose, but even she struggled to hold the line. We can't win this here, one of the warriors yelled. There's too many. Alara turned to Alien. We have to run. They moved through narrow passages deeper into the ship. Behind them, the battle still raged. Screams, fire, and the hum of weapons filled the air. Finally, they reached the escape chamber. Inside, a hidden shuttle waited. Go! Alara shouted, but Alien hesitated. What about the others? They'll hold them off, she said. They knew the risk. The door shut behind them just as another explosion rocked the ship. The shuttle launched, shooting into the stars. For a moment, there was only silence. Alien collapsed into the seat, breathing hard. His hands were shaking. Alara sat across from him, watching. You did well, she said softly. I didn't do anything, he whispered. You didn't run, she said. And when you could have frozen, you moved. Alien looked out the window. The ship behind them burned in space. How many did we lose? He asked. Too many. The silence returned, heavier now. Where are we going? He finally asked. To the outer ring, she said. My clan's hidden moon. It's where my father waits. Alien turned sharply. Your father? The clan lord? Yes, but you said he might not accept me. She nodded. He won't, not easily, but he needs to see you. Only he can decide your fate now. Alien leaned back, exhausted. I never asked for this, I just wanted to help. Alara looked down. You helped more than you know, but now you're a symbol, and symbols are dangerous. The hidden moon wasn't on any map. From above, it looked dead, gray and empty. But beneath the surface, tunnels stretched like veins. Hundreds of warriors moved in silence, watching Alien as he walked beside Alara. Their eyes were cold, unreadable. "They don't trust me," he said. "They shouldn't," she replied. "You're human, unknown, unpredictable. Thanks for the honesty. But they will follow my father's word. If he accepts you, so will they. If he doesn't—" She didn't finish the sentence. They reached a massive door, shaped like a blade. Two guards stepped aside as it opened with a low growl. Inside was the clan lord. He sat on a throne made of dark stone. Armor wrapped his huge frame. Scars covered his face and arms. His eyes burned like coals. "So," he said slowly, "this is the one who broke the chains." Elian stepped forward, trying not to show fear. "I didn't mean to challenge anything," he said. "I just—" "Silence," the clan lord boomed. "You think your reason matters? You touched what was sacred. You took what was mine." "She was in chains," Elian said quietly. "I couldn't walk away." The clan lord leaned forward. "And now, you want forgiveness, or praise, or power?" "I want to survive." The room went quiet. Then the clan lord stood. "You wish to live among us? Then you must face our truth. You will enter the fire. And if you survive, maybe you are meant to stay. And if I don't?" The clan lord smiled. "It was not kind. Then, you will burn." The clan lord and the trial of fire. The chamber doors closed behind Elian with a sound like thunder. He stood alone in a round stone room deep beneath the alien moon. Glowing lines moved across the floor like rivers of light. The air was heavy, hot and strangely quiet. Alara was gone. The blood guard were gone. Even the clan lord had vanished. This was the trial of fire, a sacred rite from Alara's people, older than any written history. It was not a test of strength or skill. It was a test of soul. The fire did not burn the body. It burned the truth. It showed you who you really were. And most who entered never returned. Elian swallowed hard and stepped forward. The light beneath his feet shifted and pulsed with every movement. His heart thudded in his chest. He felt a deep pressure in the room, like something ancient was watching him, judging. Suddenly the flames rose, not from the walls, not from the floor. They came from inside his mind. He blinked, and the room changed. He was no longer in the alien chamber. He was in a hallway on Earth. Metal lockers lined the walls. His own voice echoed down the corridor. "You're nothing," the voice said. "Invisible, weak." Elian turned and saw his younger self, alone, carrying books, eyes cast down. People walked past him like he didn't exist. They laughed, not at him, around him, as if he was air, as if he had no weight in the world. "You tried so hard," the voice mocked. "But no one ever saw you. Not really." The hallway melted. He stood now on a battlefield. Smoke filled the sky. Bodies around him, human and alien. Machines burned, the ground was broken. He held a weapon in his hands, but it was cracked and useless. Alara was there. Blood on her lips. She reached for him. "You said you would help," she whispered, "but you never could." He screamed and dropped the weapon. The fire came again, swallowing everything. Now he stood in darkness. A single figure appeared before him. Tall, glowing red eyes. No face. "You are not chosen," it said. "You are nothing. You don't belong to her. You don't belong to us. You don't belong anywhere." Elian fell to his knees. His breath came in gasps. The fire wasn't heat. It was memory, pain, doubt. It pulled at every piece of him, breaking him apart. He wanted to run. He wanted to wake up. But then, a voice broke through. It was Alara, not in front of him, but somewhere far away, deep in his mind. "Elian," she whispered, "don't let it win. I see you. I chose you." And something changed. The fire paused. For the first time, he stood up. He opened his hands and stepped forward into the flames. They didn't burn him. Instead, they shaped themselves around him. They moved with him. They followed him. He walked through the battlefield again, but this time he lifted the broken weapon and held Alara's hand. He walked through the school hallway, but this time, people saw him. They didn't laugh. They didn't look away. He faced the red-eyed figure, and this time he spoke. I may not belong to you, but I belong to someone. And that is enough. The fire roared one final time, and then everything went black. The chamber doors opened with a hiss. Alara stood waiting, her eyes wide with fear. The clan lord stood beside her, arms crossed. For a long moment no one spoke. Then Elian stepped out. His body was covered in strange glowing lines, symbols that were not human, not alien. Something older. The fire had marked him. The bloodguard gasped. A few even knelt. The clan lord's face remained hard, but there was a flicker of something in his eyes, respect or fear. No outsider has ever returned from the fire, he said. Not whole. Elian didn't answer. He was still shaking, but he stood tall. Alara walked to him and placed her hand on his arm. You survived, she said. No, he whispered. I changed. That night the moon was silent. Elian sat with Alara in the war hall, surrounded by stone statues of past clan lords. The clan lord entered and placed a blade on the table. This is not a weapon, he said. This is a sign, a promise. If you take it and you become one of us. Elian stared at the blade. He thought about Earth, about the ship, about the fire. He thought about Alara. Then, slowly, he reached out and took it. The clan lord bowed his head, but outside the moon's shield, hidden in the stars, enemy ships waited. The news of Elian's trial had already spread, and not all were pleased. Some saw a new leader, others saw a threat, and one of them was already moving in the dark. Alara stood waiting, sword drawn. You betrayed us, she said. Kieran raised his hand. Stand down. I don't want you dead. You never had the right to want anything, she said coldly. Behind her, Elian walked into the light. Kieran's face twisted. You shouldn't be here. But I am, Elian said. Kieran drew his weapon. This ends now. No, Elian said. This begins now. And the fight began. They clashed across the forge, steel against fire, betrayal against belief. Kieran was fast, strong, but Elian was centered. He remembered the fire, the voices, the pain, and what he chose to be. He didn't fight with rage, he fought with purpose. With every strike, he pushed Kieran back, until Kieran fell. Not dead, but broken. Alaric's last words echoed in the silence. You tried to kill me, and here you are trying to save me. Elian stepped back. Take him, he told the guards. You won't kill him? One asked. No, Elian said, because we don't win by becoming them. The forge glowed brighter, and above them the final battle waited. The moon would not fall easily, and the human who had broken chains now held them, not to bind, but to lead. Loyalty born in fire and blood. The sky above the moon was burning. Garrock. Warships surrounded the system, dropping fire across the horizon. The shield wall cracked like glass. Towers crumbled, warriors bled. And in the middle of it all stood Elian. Not as an outsider, not as a prisoner, but as the one who broke the chain and chose to stay. Alara walked beside him, her armor dented, her blade already stained. They didn't speak. There was no time left for words. The enemy had come, and this time there would be no escape. Deep inside the command hall, the clan lord faced the last truth. We will not survive if we stay here, one of the elders said. We can't outrun them, said another. They'll chase the fire to the edge of the stars. The clan lord looked at Elian. They want you, he said. Elian nodded. Then I give them me. Alara turned sharply. No, I'm not surrendering, Elian said. I'm ending it. Above the moon, the enemy's lead ship hovered like a mountain in space. Inside, Warlord Macro sat on his throne of bone and glass, his black armor gleaming with the blood of 10 worlds. His voice boomed across the stars through open transmission. "Send out the fire bearer," he demanded, "and the rest of you may crawl back to your holes." Elian stepped forward on the moon's surface, facing the sky. "I'm here," he said calmly. Macro smiled. "Then burn with your lies." And the descent began. Ships rained down. The moon shook under their weight. Alara led the warriors. The Blood Guard rose again. Even the doubters, those who once questioned Elian, now stood behind him. Not because he was perfect, but because he had stood when they all wanted to kneel. The battlefield was chaos. Alien blades clashed with ancient steel. Plasma cut through stone. And above them, Macro descended in his armor, taller than 3 men, eyes glowing like fire itself. He landed with a roar that cracked the stone beneath them. "You wear the fire like a toy," he growled. "You are nothing but a child playing king." Elian stepped forward. "No," he said. "I am no king." He drew the blade. "I am the one who broke the chains." And the fight began. The duel between Elian and Macro was brutal. Macro fought like a god, every strike meant to crush, to erase, to destroy. But Elian didn't try to match strength for strength. He moved with purpose, with memory. He remembered the trial of fire. He remembered Alara's face when he freed her. He remembered the betrayal, the belief, and the bond. He struck. Macro blocked. Again and again steel met flame, until at last, Elian's blade shattered. He fell to the ground, blood on his lips. Macro raised his weapon for the final blow. But then, Alara was there. She threw herself between them. Macro struck, and she fell. Elian screamed. Time stopped. Her blood touched the stone, glowed, and then the fire returned. The marks on Elian's skin flared brighter than ever before. The light rose from within him, wrapping around his broken blade, reshaping it, not with metal, but with flame. He stood, not with rage, not with hate, but with purpose. "You will not take her from me," he said. Macro charged, and Elian moved. He dodged, struck, spun, and with one final strike, he drove the blade of fire through Macro's chest. The warlord fell, his body crashing to the stone. The battlefield froze. The enemy watched. The Blood Guard cheered, but Elian didn't care. He dropped the blade and crawled to Alara's side. She was still breathing, barely. Her eyes opened. "You stayed," she whispered. "Always," he said. "They'll follow you now," she whispered. "They have to." "Then I'll lead them," he said. "But only if you're there." She smiled, and her hand gripped his. Weeks passed. The enemy clans scattered. Some fled, some surrendered, others knelt. The war had ended, not with the fall of a moon, but with the rise of a bond. The clan lord stepped down, placing the crest in Elian's hands. "You are not our blood," he said, "but you are our fire." At the ceremony, warriors stood in perfect silence as Elian and Alara lit the forge again. The clan of shadows had a new path now, one of choice, of fire, and of loyalty, born not from fear, but from belief. As the flames rose once more, Elian looked to the stars not as a stranger, not as a prisoner, but as the one who broke the chains and then chose to stay. What he became in the fire, the moon was quiet, but the silence did not bring peace. Days had passed since Elian walked out of the trial of fire. The marks that burned on his skin still glowed faintly, moving sometimes like they were alive. The Blood Guard watched him differently now, not with suspicion but with fear, and something close to belief. Alara stayed close, though even she had changed. She no longer treated Elian like a guest. She spoke to him as an equal, or something more. But not everyone welcomed the change. Beneath the surface of the moon, behind, Stone walls and sacred halls, voices whispered. He is not one of us. He walks with the fire, but the fire is not ours anymore. The human must fall before the bond becomes too strong. Elian stood in the clan's great chamber, watching a map flicker above the central table. Red lights blinked where enemy clans had gathered. Alliances were shifting. The moment he took the sacred blade, the galaxy began to tremble. The clans of Garrick, Vecht, and Sillon had called for a holy war. They claimed the human was a false firebearer, a danger to their way of life, and now entire fleets were moving toward the outer moons. Alara entered the room, dressed in armor dark as space, the crest of her clan shining on her shoulder. They won't wait much longer, she said. Elian nodded. They want me to speak. Yes. And they want you to fail. Later that night, Elian walked into the Circle of Judgment. It was an old hall, built inside the bones of something long dead. Maybe a ship, maybe a beast. Around him sat the clan elders, the generals, the fire speakers. The clan lord sat at the highest seat. Alaric, a commander with a deep scar across. His chest stood and pointed at Elian. He does not belong, he said loudly. The fire may have marked him, but fire can burn fools too. We bleed for our people, he just stumbled into our fate. Others nodded, and yet he passed the trial, Alara said calmly. None of you dared enter it in 100 years. Alaric sneered. Maybe we should. Then he looked at Elian. Speak, human. Tell us what you saw in the fire. Elian looked at them all. His hands were steady, but inside his thoughts roared. I saw nothing at first, he said. Just fear, loneliness, shame, the kind of pain that buries itself deep. But then, I saw myself. Not the one who hid, not the one who walked away. I saw the one who stood up, the one who chose to act when no one else would. He paused. The room was silent. You call me outsider? He continued. But I broke the chains not because I wanted power. I did it because someone was hurting, and I knew what that felt like. Maybe that's why the fire didn't burn me, because deep down, it knew I would never run. The words hung heavy. The clan lord spoke at last. You wear the fire now. But fire brings both light and shadow. Remember that. Later, Elian sat alone in the moon's upper chamber, overlooking the stars. Alara joined him, sitting quietly by his side. You speak like one of us now, she said. Do I? He asked. She nodded. Too many forget why we fight. They chase honor, or blood. But you remind them of something older, something better. Elian looked at her. Then why do they still hate me? Because they fear what you could become. The tunnels far below, a figure moved in secret. Alaric. He met with 2 masked warriors, one sworn to the old path. He weakens us, Alaric growled, and she will follow him into ruin. What do you want? One of them asked. I want to tear out the fire before it spreads, he said. I want to make the moon pure again. How? Alaric pulled out a vial. Inside, black, mist swirled. This poison was banned centuries ago, made by the Siln. 1 drop is enough to silence even the strongest firebearer. The warriors took the vial. Alaric's voice lowered. Tonight, when he speaks to the blood guard, make it look like an accident. The great fire hall was full. Elian stood in the center, preparing to speak again, this time to the warriors who now looked to him. He felt the weight of their stares, their hopes, their doubts. He took a breath. But then, he felt something, a cold touch in the air. Alara moved beside him, eyes narrowing. Something is wrong, she whispered. Elian turned. A blood guard was approaching with a ceremonial drink. Tradition. It was always done before a leader's vow, but the warrior's steps were strange. Too careful. Alara reached for her blade. Wait, Elian said. Let him come. The warrior knelt and offered the drink. Elian took it, but didn't drink. He looked straight into the warrior's eyes. Tell, Me, he said softly. What would the fire see in you? The warrior froze, and then ran. Alaric's plot was broken. Alaric tried to escape too, but the guards caught him before he reached the ships. Alara stared at him as they dragged him in chains. You tried to poison him, she said. I tried to save us, he spat. No, Elian said, stepping forward. You tried to keep us in chains. The clan lord watched it all unfold. His silence meant everything. When it was over, he stood before his people and said only one thing. The fire has chosen. But outside the system, the enemy clans had made their decision too. They had gathered, and they were coming. Not just to test Elian, but to destroy everything he had touched. The loyal who doubted the days that followed were heavy with silence. After the failed poisoning, the moon changed. Guards doubled their patrols. Whispers crept like shadows through the halls. Warriors who once bowed now spoke behind closed doors. Elian could feel it. Something was breaking, not just trust, something deeper. Alara stayed by his side, but even she felt the shift. They fear the clans, she said one night, walking with him across the upper ridge. They know the war is close, and some believe you brought it here. Elian looked at the stars. Maybe they're right. Don't say that, she snapped. You gave us hope. He turned to her. Hope doesn't stop warships. No, she said softly, but without it, we stop ourselves. In the war chamber, the clan lord stood over the star map. Fleets were moving. 3 major clans, Garrick, Siln, and Morvac, had united. They were sending 40 warships. 40. The moon had 7. We will not survive open war, the clan lord said. Someone spoke from the corner. Then maybe we give them what they want. Elian turned sharply. It was a young captain, one of Alara's own blood guard. His name was Kieran. Quiet. Loyal. Or so Elian thought. Alara stepped forward. What are you saying? Kieran didn't blink. They don't want the moon. They don't want the clan. They want him. Elian felt the room go cold. Kieran looked at the clan lord. We send him away or give him to them. The silence was sharp. Alaric had tried poison. Kieran used words, but the aim was the same. Alara was shaking. You would betray your vow? Kieran didn't answer her. He looked only at Elian. You are not one of us, he said. You survived the fire, yes, but you do not carry the weight of 1,000 dead. We do. Elian didn't speak. Instead, he walked forward and stood in the center of the room. You're right, he said quietly. I don't carry your past, but I see your future. And it ends in chains, unless we fight together. And die? Kieran asked. Maybe, Elian said. Or maybe we show them that loyalty isn't just blood, it's choice. That night, Kieran disappeared, 2 blood guard with him. Alara found their tracks leading to the launch tunnels. They're gone, she whispered. Elian looked down the dark passage. No, he said. They're going to the enemy. They reached the orbiting station 2 days later. Kieran walked into the command hall of the Garrick fleet and knelt before the warlords. The human lives, he said. He hides behind our banners, but not all of us stand with him. The warlords smiled. Then give us the path, they said, and when we burn their moon, you will have your place. Kieran nodded, and war began. On the moon, alarms screamed. Enemy ships poured out of hyperspace surrounding the system. The shield wall trembled. The outer scout sent a single word before going silent, overwhelmed. The clan lord stood tall. We hold, he said. We fight. Alara prepared the warriors. Elian stood with them. He wasn't wearing engineer's clothes now. He wore the armor of fire, passed down through the ancient rite. The blade he once feared now rested on his back. Still, doubt twisted in him. Would they truly follow him when fire fell from the sky? The first strike hit the outer dome. The blast sent shock waves through the tunnels. Walls cracked. Lights failed. A section collapsed. Alaric was there. He shoved two young warriors forward out of the rubble, then got pinned beneath a falling beam. Alien found him seconds later. Go, Alaric gasped, blood on his lips. I was wrong. About you. About everything. Alien knelt beside him, trying to lift the beam. You tried to kill me. And yet, here you are, trying to save me. Alien gritted his teeth. Because that's the difference between us. Alaric smiled once and then was still. Alara touched Elian's shoulder. We need to go, the inner walls won't hold. In the command center, the clan lord received the worst news. They breached the south gate, the guard said. We have lost the tunnels, the enemy is inside. And Kieran, he asked. The guard lowered his head. He leads them. The clan lord closed his eyes, then turned to Elian. This is your test, he said. Not the fire, not the hall. This. Now. Elian stepped forward. Then let's meet him. In the heart of the moon, the ancient forge still burned. It was there that Kieran entered, cloaked in enemy armor.